Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of NDV Media's Monday Night America special and wonderful program. We're going to be talking quite a bit about America's dogman hunter himself, Nick Valente. Good evening, young man. How are you?
Hey, Roger, I'm doing good. Good to see you.
Oh, thank you for joining me. I am embarrassed, folks. We did start live. Late. We did. There's no doubt about it. I apologize to everyone, but I'm glad we're here now. And I reached out to Nick. I think it was last week or the week before because I was always impressed on his endeavors, and that's what I wanted to concentrate on. Actually, I wanted to talk about Nick with Nick about all the stuff that he does in the world today, because a lot of people don't really know what he does, except if you're involved in that little universe. So let me stop talking. Let me give it. And Nick, it's just going to be a back and forth, my brother. So it's good seeing you first and foremost. It's been a little while. Thank you for accepting my invite. Let's get to it, man. Nick, what do you do?
I've signed so many do not talk about documents that I really can't discuss what I actually do or have done. But in the world of cryptozoology, I've branched out. I branched out into the missing 411, the ufology, um, just, the paranormal, everything, because I'm finding through my research, speaking with people, uh, emails with people, just Facebook messages with people every day. Besides going to work, when I'm at work, if I'm on the comms desk, I can bump into Facebook and my email, and I can, read the letters that people send. Uh, we've been busy. I'm going to tell you right now, Roger. Last time you and I did a show together, I think we interviewed, I forgot his first name, Mr. Lopez from the Philippines. He's an author.
Oh, yes,
Remember
yes,
we were talking about Filipino cryptids and monsters, and
yes.
he was shocked that I knew anything about it. But I mean, that's part of the whole deal worldwide. I do all the cryptids. But I wanted to mention that the Northeast portion of the United States right now is a hotbed. And in fact, for the last 7 months, it's been a hotbed for cryptids. Dogman, especially, a lot of Sasquatch sightings. I was just up with a team last month up in the Poconos, Pennsylvania. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, being out
Yes.
there in California, IA. But the northern part of the Poconos, out of the vacationing area, we had several Dogman reports, and I had two different families contact me personally. So we grabbed a team. We took trailers up with six wheelers because the area over there I saw was, not really conducive to foot travel. But our six wheelers got us through all the mud and muck and snow that they have up there nicely. And I'm going to tell you, people, I've gotten nasty letters from people saying, "Oh, you don't stand and take pictures of the dog man when you see him." Well, I've only seen it once, and a fleeting image last year down in LBL, Kentucky, out of the peripheral vision. I saw another one, but the first time around I was dead on, and I mean that's just not, Roger. It's not something you think about at the time. Take out my cell phone and ask them for a picture. You're kind of looking at a large creature that you've never seen before, and at least I had never seen before. I mean, I studied cryptozoology back then in 2013, but like I've told you before, I thought it was some kind of a werewolf type creature. But this thing was larger than a normal werewolf creature would be. And I mean, why would I think about, taking out my Polaroid and snapping a picture? So just in case that gentleman who sent me a nasty note is listening, that's my answer. You don't think about it.
I agree. You don't think about it. And if you do think about it, chances are you're not going to get near, or the old, what is it? The flea instinct may come into play. If it's bigger than we anticipate, and it makes noises from our DNA past, it's just not a good thing. I have to tell you, Nick, one reason why I reached out to you is, of course, for me, it's that time of year from January to April. I'm stuck in this place, in this little hole.
Yeah,
And I can't, yeah,
backside.
yeah, I can't get out. But I the reason why I thought of reaching out to you, and Tocayo, thank you for the like. Roger Peacock, thank you, young man, appreciate it. I was here, and of all things, Nick, I had a minister here retired, and he was just right here in front of me, and his wife was speaking to me, and all of a sudden, the minister and I both whirled around because we caught movement. We both have wonderful peripheral vision, and we both saw, and you can see behind me this metal thing right here is where I have my coffee stand and
Yeah,
for my
yeah, I
clients and
remember
stuff.
that.
It actually, we both saw quickly a shadowy figure, whatever it was,
Ah,
and but we didn't get the hostile intent. We didn't just it didn't have that vibe, and it's the third time now within the last 2 years that I myself have seen something,
mm,
but someone else saw it, and again, not wanting to be disrespectful, it was a minister no less.
right.
So go figure. And that happened, and right away I was like, hey, I haven't spoken to Nick in a bit. It's not exactly right in there, but I got scared. I thought of you, Nick.
You need to. You have a window in there.
Oh, if only. No.
Okay,
Uh,
how about a door that leads to
well,
the
yeah,
outside?
yeah. One door over there.
I would
I,
suggest. I would suggest you go and get yourself some sage and burn it and put it in the four corners or any corner you have there, and leave the door open so it can get out. After it gets out, I would put. You know what baby food jars look like?
I
Little
sure
glass
do.
jars. All
Yeah.
right, I would put some salt and put them in each of the corners and leave it there forever. Because to tell you the truth, when I go out on a field investigation, I mean a real one,
Yeah.
not only am I bringing bear spray and, I hate to say it, weapons for self defense, I don't hunt. I absolutely do not hunt.
Sure.
But I bring all the things you would expect. Plus, I bring black salt, white salt, and holy water because you don't know what you're going to come up against. I mean, I bring a slew of defensive items, but those are some of the items I bring just in case. You never know.
I believe it. I do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give it a shot. I just haven't had the time. And just to give you a bit of orientation, I know it's lame, but I always do this. At this point, for me, if I'm looking this way, I'm looking west towards downtown Los Angeles. So I'm looking this way, I'm looking north. So if I switch my orientation, I'd be giving you my back. I'm actually looking at you now, Nick. So my door to the garage, my office, is in the northeast corner. It's on the north facing, like right in the corner. So I have it open right now because it's a tad warm. Temperature is beautiful. It's 77 degrees.
Oh, God.
What are you at right now?
Well, right now it's about 30 degrees. I'm in New Jersey, and I worked out today, this morning in my garage. I have a full weight set up in there and everything. And I put the door open because I want the air and I want to look outside. And I'll tell you, it's cold. It's cold. I can't wait till it gets warm so I could be there with just a t-shirt on and work out because it's just not so. Oh, by the way, how's your grass growing?
Actually, it is very, very tall right now in the backyard. Nothing up front.
That's
So
a good thing.
yeah, the little kitties that I have are having DNA flashbacks. They're on
Ah,
the savannah again. And when clients come over to visit, they're like, "Hey, don't you have a lot of cats?" And number one, I joke with them and tell them, legal counsel has told me I'm not supposed to answer that question. But beyond that, I tell them exactly that. They're having DNA flashbacks. If you look carefully, they're in the tall grass. So it's a combination of tall grass and a few plants and weeds. And I'll have to take a picture and show it to you. But a few of them do get up to about 4 or 6 feet. But that's about it.
hey, I know this has nothing to do with cryptozoology or paranormal or ufology or anything, but you, what do you think about the baseball? You think it's gonna? start on time? I don't.
No, I believe today it should have been uh, the an agreement. It's not going to start on time, unfortunately. The owners like the system that's in place,
Yeah.
and the players are not liking it. So I do believe a deal will be done, but we will lose certain. I don't know. I think there'll be a deal struck, and I'm holding. I know nothing. First of all, I have connections and stuff, but not to that level. So
Now, the
um,
reason why I bring that up is because I know you and our uh, buddy over there, well, down yonder in Louisiana, were supposed to come up and watch a Yankee game, and I owe you two guys a Mexican dinner or lunch or whatever.
Nick, I was thinking about that. I do intend to go out. I'm hoping I have 5 trips planned this year. Of course, it's all related around tax season. My
Yay!
gift to myself, Nick, is I am going up to Alaska on April 20th, the
Oh
day
man,
after. Right now, folks, I'm not trying. I guess I'm a shill for Alaska Airlines. Folks, from LAX to Anchorage right now, it's about $269 round trip. It's crazy. It's absolutely
wow.
crazy. So I'm going to be heading up. I may be going up alone. And Nick, I'll send you a video of this kid that does videos on YouTube, and he did a 2 hour video of a trip with his father. It was like a 6 to 8 day trip, starting in Anchorage, heading north to Denali, Fairbanks, and coming back all the way around. And just to give an idea of the 16 things they did, I wanted to do 12 of them. So I'm thinking I'm just going to duplicate their trip. That's all I want to
Well,
do.
I mean, if that was fun for them, yeah.
Yeah, they Denali is what I'm looking forward to. But that's neither here nor there. In May, I was hoping to start my baseball trips, and I'm just, Nick, I over the last year and a half, I've had a lot of personal stuff go by, and if I get melancholy right now, forgive me. It's just gonna be right now. For me, the days are fewer ahead than they are behind.
Mm,
And to use a hood line, I got me things to do,
that's right. Do it
and
now. I
I'm
tell,
gonna do it.
I tell a lot of people who are still out there working, like 76 years old, they don't want to retire, they want to work, work, work. I said, well, like, when are you going to do anything? If you can afford to travel, you should go and travel. Hey, there
Uh,
he is.
yeah, I'm sorry. Hey, Thomas, if you want in, buddy, come on in. Just let me know. I apologize. Folks, I am embarrassed. I almost ditched
Anchor?
Nick. I ran into the office because anyway, it's just embarrassing. Now I'm going to apologize on air to Nick and apologize to the audience. And I'm going to apologize to him in person. I almost missed the program, and it's embarrassing. But enough about me. I'm going to send the link to Dream to see if he would like to join us. But Nick, in addition to everything you're telling us, I don't know if you've had a chance, well, at least you haven't on this network, to talk about the Quad Coalition. You,
Oh,
you
no.
yeah, you hinted about it, and then you did it. I mean, you said you were going to do it, and then bam,
Yeah.
and now it's going. It's really awesome.
Yeah,
If
I've got
you want to share with the audience, please.
over
What?
1,000 members of the Quad Coalition of Sciences. And the reason I wanted to open it up is because I got so many different facets of the paranormal, the cryptozoology community, the zoology community, the UFOology community. Everybody's fighting against each other. Um, there's not a lot of those trips to find the Yeti anymore, that are sponsored by companies, but they're still doing DNA research. So there's research money out there to be had. So all these different groups are fighting against each other so that they can get the research money and grants, to prove something. Unfortunately, nobody's proven anything and they're fighting. There's infighting. I believe that if the UFO community, the cryptozoology, the zoology community, the paranormal community, if they all got together and we all pooled our resources and the knowledge that we know, we might be able to come up with something. And I started the Quad Coalition of Sciences, and it shows right there on the logo, all of them together. And I do everything on that site on Facebook. And I welcome anybody's comments or anything. I mean, good comments, not foolishness, because I have some really super good admins. And once that happens, you get warned and then thrown out, and blocked. We just want to do pure research, as opposed to the North American Dogman Project, where we do research and we do field investigation. I'm talking boots on the ground field investigation for the North American Dogman Project. But Quad Coalition, it's everything. Like I said, it's cryptids, it's ghosts, it's demons, it's aliens, portals, and regular zoology. Yep, there it is.
Folks, it's right here on Facebook. It is a Quad Coalition of Sciences. I didn't mean to interrupt Nick right now. I just
No,
brought
no,
it so
that's
you
good.
could have it right there.
I mean, it's
And
growing. It's growing. I thought it would have grown more than that, but I've only had it up for about 6 months or so. So that's pretty good over 1,200 members.
oh yeah, and what struck me the most is the fact that you did reach out for, for lack of a better word, is the believers and the science community, because obviously the science community is until they discover it, then it's fact,
That's it.
and
That's why cryptids are called cryptids, because until the scientific community says, "Oh, the panda bear is a real animal,"
it's
that was a cryptid. It took them 65 years to find a panda bear, and they found a baby one. And finally, when they got them, they said, "Oh, I guess they're not cryptids. They're real."
really, the panda bear was a
I
cryptid.
swear to you,
Oh, I believe you. It's wow.
a gentleman who was a cryptozoologist. He went out there with his model wife. She was a model, a former model, and he actually died on the research trip. And she decided, in honor of her husband, she was staying on, and she found a baby panda bear, and they brought it back to New York, and only took 65 years from when it was found for that to happen.
only
You
only
know, and,
65.
and look at the other thing, the Komodo dragon. If you ever seen one of those in a zoo, oh my God! I mean, they're only found on 4 islands in Indonesia.
Yeah.
4 Indonesian islands. You don't really want those things running around. And they're like dragons. No way. I mean, the size of these things and everything, and the speed. And they finally, got some and took it back to a zoo, and now they're not cryptids anymore. So every day there's more and more cryptids that become real insects with names and real animals with names. The insect community has a lot of cryptids, like the stick bug. It looks
Oh,
just like a stick.
yeah.
You might even put your hand on it while you're resting against a tree, and you're like, "Oh, look at this gush stuff all over my hand." But they found that, and that's no longer a cryptid. But
Yeah, no kidding.
I just wish these different organizations would stop with the fighting. I mean, we by by all accounts, we do get along with the Bigfoot community. That's the Dogman community. But a lot of the Bigfoot community doesn't want to bother with us. And then the UFO community doesn't want to either. However, my strategy in thinking outside the box, I mean, has expanded enormously. Last time I spoke with you, Roger, I had, I'm constantly doing research, internet, newspapers, libraries, microfiche at the libraries, books. I keep continuously read books. I tell you, I must read on the average of 12 books a month. I'm a pretty fast reader.
Oh wow.
Last time I talked to you, I was down to 27 books. I got it down to 20. I'm up to 42 now. I got people, telling me, "Hey, did you see this book?" I got a book sent to me by one of my really good members, John Miller, up in where is John? John's in Maine. He's our one of our chapter reps up there in Maine, and he sent me a book. I mean, it's like it's just never ending. I can't catch up. I can't get it down to 1 or 2 books. I go out of state. I make sure I find the little libraries. I look in their microfilm and microfiche. The old newspaper reports. I mean, there's nothing better, Roger, than getting a newspaper from the late 1800s.
Oh,
You
wow.
would imagine what these people report. Unbelievable.
Yes.
I was in Arkansas last year, and I got to hit two old bookstores and two libraries that were not really being used. And you would not believe the both libraries now, they were thrilled, absolutely thrilled when I said to the librarian here, can I use your microfiche, and can you set me up? I want the newspapers from such and such. Oh God, they were thrilled until they wanted to close, and I was still there at 5 o'clock. They wanted to leave, but I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was doing 3.5 hours there, going through newspaper after newspaper after newspaper, and I picked some good stuff up. They had a couple of reports on uh, God, Thunderbirds, and they had some good reports on Chupacabra out there, and it was like, wow, this is great. I was looking for some Dogman reports because that's the reason why we were out there at the time.
Yeah.
Didn't find any of those, but I think I probably would have found some stuff if I could have stayed there a little bit longer. If I could have got into the early 1900s. But it's interesting. I mean, if you really apply yourself and you do have the time, and I know a lot of people that do have the time, but they'd rather just be keyboard warriors and never venture outside and you know boots on the ground and get into the forest.
Yeah, it's much easier to type a few words as an insult and just, satisfy yourself sitting behind a keyboard.
Yeah, and I love how they tell me how to do a field investigation. I absolutely love that. I mean,
Oh, that's amusing.
former paramilitary. I've been other things in the U.S. government. Former police. I went to the FBI Academy for classes, and I mean, I do know how to do a crime scene. I do know how to do a field investigation. I mean, they did teach all those things. So, and besides my own reading on it and being taught, it's like I get these people that will have their friend bring a camera out and they'll go into a park where children are playing on rides, and I mean, they actually still have those parks these days, and say, I'm out here on a cryptid investigation. And then you can see in the background, there's kids on a seesaw, kids on a swing, kids on those spring ducks. You sit on the duck and there's a big spring and they're bouncing back. I mean, that's not doing a field investigation at all. That's not getting into the woods. But I guess it's safe, and they could BS everybody. It's it's just like, please, people, get out there and actually see what it's like. Don't get out too far though, because you want to stay in contact and not become one of the missing 411 out there.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I'm used to technology now. I remember in my teens, early 20s, I've always had a cell phone. I think from my 20s I've had a cell phone. That would be, ooh, definitely dating myself. 1999. I had a real cellular phone back then. So
Oh, one of
I've
those.
had technology, yeah. And then I did have the the one that went in the car, so you could carry with you in a bag. And
Yeah.
then I eventually had the half a brick. I think it was a Nokia 6210. That was a
Oh,
nice phone,
God.
but that was old. Wasn't the full brick. It was the half a brick. It was like a 90, 92, 93 phone. But anyway, my point is, I would go out, and even with that technology, I would be out of range. And I would go out into the desert, the mountains, whatever. And I was used to that. Going out now, if I see no signal, oh, I'm losing weight, Nick. I'm getting nervous, and I don't like that. So I don't want to venture to places where I do not have. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love being out in the wilderness, but I don't know. I've got to have a phone connection. I'm going to upload those images right now, Nick.
Yeah, I
Give
was
me a
just
few
going to ask
moments.
if you could do that because I
Oh, but
have
of course.
part of the show I'd like to talk about, that, and
Oh,
it would be
and
good to have something to see.
sorry for interrupting. And by the way, folks, the reason why we started early is because number one, not only for myself but for Nick, I said, look, we always end up screwing Nick, and I say that professionally on NDB Media, by having the program start at 7 or later. So I say, hey, I can start a little bit earlier. And of all the days starting earlier, I didn't make it on time. So that was my fault. But that's why we're here. We don't know how long we're going to go, but I don't think we're going to go too long because Nick has stuff to get to. And I'm old. I have to get up at 4 a.m. tomorrow. So
Ooh,
just stay with us, folks. Hey, Nick, that's why I want to retire. Look, I have the greatest job in the world. I work for local government, and my retirement date is still March 28th, 2024. I'm still looking to do it. I
wow.
won't be 55 yet. I'll be able to do what I'm doing full time. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm talking too much, folks. It's the plan. Whether it comes to pass, we'll see. I'm getting tired of my commute, Nick. 32 miles one way,
Woo.
64 miles. Getting to work in this concrete jungle is about 32 minutes. Coming home, it's an hour and a half, man.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, and now that the COVID drivers are back, I'm
Mm.
sorry, folks, it's however you want, because the freeways were great for 2 years. And now the people that were home, they've now come back. Well, they're the COVID drivers. They don't know how to drive. But anyway, I'm downloading these images right now. Nick's
Hey,
like, shut up, download them. I'm sorry.
while you're downloading, Josh Turner from Paranormal Roundtable, he decided to do a group of cryptozoologists uh, and guys that actually do field investigations and make us
Yeah.
into action figures.
Oh, wow. That is so cool, Nick. That really is. Are they available for purchase?
Yes, they're available for purchase from God, the fellow that makes these things. I guess you would contact Josh Turner on Paranormal Roundtable, but see, mine comes with a Rottweiler. I don't know if you could see him.
Oh yes, yeah. That is so cool. Wow, to have that, that's crazy. That's that is really cool. Folks, there it is. It is Paranormal Roundtable. Is it paranormalroundtable.com? Folks, again, forgive me. I know these websites, but I'm busy right now.
Well, Josh Turner, Josh Turner. I mean, it's just not only
Okay.
me. There's a lot of people that they've done up some, and quite a few more since he started.
Yeah, that is cool. I've downloaded 3 of the images, and now I'm gonna. Oh, great! The fourth one is of interest to me because I'm probably going to be doing that run in 2026. I'm
Mm.
going to leave Vancouver and drive up the Trans-Alaskan Highway. Nick,
Oh,
I've
oh,
got the next 10 years planned.
wow,
I'm that way.
that is
And
great though. Most people
well,
don't do that. They don't know what they're doing tomorrow morning for breakfast.
Nick, again, not wanting to get all melancholy or morbid. I have things I want to do and I have places I want to go, and
That's right.
I have a bucket list. Everyone famously who knows me in this little universe, I want to visit 30 baseball stadiums. Well,
Wow.
my daughter and I got 5 of them in last year, and this year we're hoping to get 6 if those boneheads come to an agreement.
Oh,
But anyway, I'm uploading the images in a moment, and here we go. Should I do this as a background? No, I actually haven't uploaded something in a little bit. Oops. So I should be able to get these up in just a
well, while
moment.
you're doing that, let me give you the story on that Poconos trip, field investigation, whatever you want to call it, from last month. I had two different families call up. And oh, by the way, I'll get into what you're uploading as soon as I'll give you the story. Might as well give them something of interest.
Yes.
Up in the Poconos, beyond the fun areas over there and the vacationing areas, there's a lot of snow at this time of the year, but there's still people up there, renting cabins and going to the casinos and shopping and doing whatnot. But above that area, the northern portion of Pennsylvania, there's people that live there, and their next door neighbor is not even within eyesight. And this one couple called because he and his wife, they're in their early 30s. They're going home from work. They both work at a body shop. And it's a good thing, too, because the wife tells the husband as they're driving home, it's about 5:30. The light is, the light of the day is starting to really, go away. And she tells her husband, watch out, watch out. There's a deer. And it wasn't a deer. It was a bipedal cryptid.
Oh.
It had wolf-like face as their headlights hit it, and it came and it actually swatted at their car. And the husband kind of went over to the side, and he recovered, and he's going straight down the road. And then they hear a scratch on the side of the car. He goes and hits the pedal, and he gets it up to like 65 miles an hour, according to the wife. She's telling me this whole thing because he's still in denial. He doesn't want to remember what he saw when he actually, in fact, did see a black, hairy figure, wolf-like, on 2 feet, chasing the car because he could see it in the passenger side rear view mirror. The scratch that they heard, they found out later on what it was. There's 4 claw marks coming straight down. This thing actually swatted at their car. So, that's one report. The very next day, I get another report from some people that actually live where their body shop is located, just down the street from there. And they saw a bipedal wolf-like creature crossing a field. Now, usually it's a cattle corn field, and cattle corn will grow 3 feet, 4 feet high. And at this time of the year, it's just looking like weeds and everything. However, this thing towered above anything sticking above 3-4 feet. And wow. They're watching this thing go across the field. And then suddenly it takes off, and they see a deer jump and is fleeing. And this thing is going after a deer. The husband is not one of my, well, he probably is one of my members now, but he wasn't at the time. He told a friend of his who is a member, and that person told him, to contact me. And he and his wife both spoke to me on the phone about what they saw. And I said, geez, I'm really interested because not too far from where you are, there's a couple that owns that body shop, and they saw the same thing. And he knows them, and they got together and they spoke, and they gave me a call, and they said, listen, is there any possible way you can come up here? I said I would check. Over the next few days, as I'm checking about getting a team together, because like I've told you in the past, I will not go out there on a field investigation, a viable field investigation, unless I have a 7-man team. And we're jocked up, and we're going to be able to defend ourselves. And I want to get back to that in a second, but I want to continue the story here about the defending ourselves thing, that is. I had 2 Facebook, I guess you would call messenger messages from people that live in the area, and they were reporting sighting, not an encounter, but sightings. And I said, geez, we got to do something. So I was able to get a 7-man team up, including myself. We got 2 6-wheelers, and we put them on trailers, and we towed them up there, and we met with the individuals. I'm probably giving away too much information by saying that they live on a dead-end street up in that area and that they do own a body shop. But anyway, they met us, and they took us to where the sighting was, and it was a T in the road. We put the vehicles on the side. We got in the vehicles. I first did see his vehicle, and Roger, I'm going to tell you, it was a slash. Now, you could tell the difference if it was a bear slash or not. A bear slash, the claw marks would be closer together.
Yes.
These were not. These were further apart. I don't know any bear that can slash far apart like that and as deep as that went. Luckily, he owns a body shop, and they're going to have it repaired, but they wanted to keep it until we got there. We searched the area. We did find footprints. We found more claw marks on trees. And I've known this from research, not from firsthand. This was my only first time having firsthand evidence. Dogman can evidently climb a tree very easily. The report about LBL, where that family was killed, and where the daughter was found in a tree, I mean, that was reported evidence that they can climb a tree. Granted, a mountain lion can take its prey up a tree, but this little girl was just torn apart, in LBL, and she was found in a tree. And this was no mountain lion that hit their car. I'm going to tell you right now. They saw what they saw. They reported what they saw, and all the evidence correlates with all other reports and encounters that I've had over the years and everything I've researched. And we found footprints. We did not find Dogman, but what we did do is what we normally will leave things out there to keep it away from the area of the body shop and of their house. What I did was we brought canisters, coffee cans, the regular old coffee cans, full of cayenne pepper.
Oh,
Spread that out all over the area around where their body shop was, and the other individuals who saw it near their house, we spread that around there too. It sort of does help to keep them away. We spent 3 days in the area. Did not have any sightings, any encounters. But what we did find was footprints. We made our plaster casts and we took the photographs of the scratches on the trees. You can tell something climbed that tree. Now, people are going to tell me, well, it was probably a bear because black bear can climb trees. Well, once again, the slash marks were further apart. You just don't find slash marks like that. And through my research and trading pictures and research back and forth with other Dogman researchers, field investigators, that's about what they found. That's what I found also. So the 3 days that they're out there, and now this was last month, and early last month is when it happened. And we went out there the second week last month and spent our 3 days there, came back, and I've had no more reports from these individuals. Now it's 4 different, I don't want to say couples. It was 2 couples, and then it was 3 people from one family and then 1 person from another family. So that's 4 different reports, and no one has made any reports since then at that time. Now, if you want to throw up that one double map, if you could, there it is. Now,
is that a good image right there?
Yeah. Now, what this shows is missing people. All right. I guess that's on the bottom one.
Oh, okay.
And then on the top map that's marked in red are tunnel systems throughout the United States. So if you superimpose them, and you'll notice the middle area is pretty well clear. Yeah. All right. Now, the bottom one is showing, where there's been encounters with Sasquatch, Dogman, other cryptids. And the top one shows the tunnel systems. And the bottom one there is not only have there been encounters, but there's people missing. So you got the missing 411 people. Now that's kind of funny because cryptids, generally Dogman and Sasquatch, in my research now, have been noted to stay near areas that have tunnels, and they've stayed near areas with a water source and areas where there's plenty of food out there in the area. So whether it be wild pig, deer, and the whatnot, elk and things like that, a lot of these areas, have that. So that's why I asked you to put up that map. And
that's crazy.
Something I've expanded on, like I said, thinking outside the box, Roger, is a notion of cryptids might be connected to portals because they're seen. Like they call the Sasquatch the ultimate hide and seek guy. Dogman, you'll see him and then he'll be able to disappear. Same thing with Bigfoot. You'll see them and then they'll be able to disappear. It's possible that an alien ship might be sucking them up from the ground into their ship. It's possible. It's possible that they use portals to disappear into. So I'm combining 4 things together: aliens, cryptids, portals, and missing 411. Because a lot of people that are missing, their body parts are not found. The bottom of their boots, which is made out of rubber. Rubber doesn't just dissipate in a matter of 3, 4, 5 years. Guns that are missing from hunters, gun stocks, That just doesn't go away. Blood just doesn't go away. Now, the thing is, you think about this. People disappear without a trace. How is that? Now, some people will tell me, oh, well, they fell into a hole. Okay, you fell into a hole. But they have dogs out there, search and rescue
Yeah.
dogs. If one dog can't find it, then they bring a team of dogs out there. That team of dogs is not going to miss it. And people will say, well, maybe they fell into a body of water. Well, they have cadaver dogs.
Hmm.
Cadaver dogs, Roger, are specialized dogs.
Yeah.
Tens of thousands of dollars are put into training these dogs. And if they don't pass the first two phases, they're chucked out and new ones are brought in. Cadaver dogs can go up to a body of water and smell a dead body.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Which brings me to a serial killer. Maybe a serial killer got some of these people. So now we got all these hundreds and hundreds of serial killers out there. Seriously? That's a question mark. Now, a serial killer might weight a person down and put him in the water, but a cadaver dog, 99.9% of the time, on everything I've researched and read, will find that person. Because that body, even if it's under the water for like weeks at a time, it's going to still let up bubbles. And it's going to let off
Right.
shot. Those cadaver dogs are going to find it. So missing into a hole or being thrown into the water and weighted down, I'm just saying, hey, that's out of the question. It's just, and if it was a serial killer, there has to be some bloodshed on the trail. Dead bodies are heavy too. I mean, I'm 205 pounds. Okay. If you kill me, you gotta cart me away somehow. And we're talking about in the woods. In my training, we will lift each other up in a fireman's carry. And I'm going to tell you, they require us to go 1,000 yards
Oh man.
with your buddy on your shoulder. And even weighing 200 pounds, and I work out a lot, I walk with a 65-pound rucksack 3 days a week. I make sure I go well over 3 miles. I'm out there over an hour. And even doing my own training personally, I'm going to tell you, the guy I got that one day that we had to qualify, he was 215 pounds. That was a pain. 1,000 yards. That's 3,000 feet. So it's not easy. I don't know about these serial killers. I think they're all wussies because
Yeah.
they will come face to face. Hey, come on, bring it. Come face to face with me and see how easy it's going to be to kill me. No, you go after these poor people out there that didn't do a darn thing. You'll go after women and children, but you won't face down somebody that could defend themselves. But anyway, most of them are wimps, and I can't imagine them carrying a body far enough away to dispose of them. I mean, there's a lot of easy ways to dispose of bodies. I won't talk about that. There's no use giving people ideas, but most of them can't do that, Roger. They just can't because bodies are heavy.
Yeah, it's difficult. I remember taking a test for the marshals in LA County. They no longer exist. It's just the sheriffs now. But I remember I had to drag a body, but I think I did something like this where I would come in behind and, my palms are behind the head and I would drag the body. And it was like 200 and some pounds and I was barely able to drag it 50 feet, man. And I was 19, 20, 21 years old. That was very difficult. So I get you on that.
Yeah.
It's just it's unreal. But look, Nick, what is the number of people that go missing? Because people are jaundiced about it because they hear of one, they hear of two, maybe three. They don't understand. It's like not understanding what $1 billion is compared to 1 million or even 100,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The comprehension's not there. They just know the number, but that's it. And in this, they hear of a few missing cases, some of it because of television. They're limited on the number of missings, but how many people go missing every year in the United States? I know I'm kind of pinning you down on a number, but
You wanna die? I mean, I swear to God, you're not gonna like this number.
It's
600,000 people in the United States, in the Americas, go missing every year.
okay.
And that's
Six
not
hundred
worldwide.
thousand. That is okay. 0.18 of the population. That's still a lot.
It's still a lot. I mean, you're talking about people that, have families.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, uh,
The federal workforce is 100,000. Okay, no, I'm sorry, that's wrong. The Los Angeles County workforce is 110,000 people. It's crazy, and to have 600,000, that's it's just unfathomable. That's around the United States. It's unfathomable. And the thing is, they are nothing is ever found, right?
well, I'm going to tell you, out of that 600,000 that go missing,
Yeah.
honestly now, this is an estimate, and just from my research, just looking, about 6 to 7% are actually found.
Wow.
It's crazy. I mean, 600,000 go missing, but 6 or 7% are actually found. You
Okay,
know,
I guess that would be what? Well, it's a lot. If it's 100,000, 6% is 6,000. So there it is.
right
36,000 people, give or take, are found. It
now,
is still unreal.
people have. I went to a symposium one time on missing 411, and we all got into a debated argument. People were saying, well, most of those people do it because they want to go away. They don't want to be found. Not in this day and age. That's kind of hard. You have to cover your tracks. You can't use credit cards. You better have a lot of cash. And in this day and age, with cameras on every street corner and ATMs and supermarkets, where everything, you're bound to be spotted. Facial recognition is really, really good these days. Now, facial recognition, I know how to beat it. I won't tell you here how to do that. I'll tell you privately if you want to know. But even with facial recognition, people trying to beat it, you're still, sooner or later, something's going to come up. If they put you in the system and they put your
Yeah.
face in there, the computers are running all the time, and
Yes.
you'll come up. You can't use your social security number. You can't get a job that pays, a weekly salary or anything like that. You have to work for cash. And there's not a lot of places to do that anymore. Maybe back in the 70s and the 80s, you could have gotten away with that, but not after that. So trying to go missing is crazy. And anyway, getting back to what I said in the beginning, cryptids, UFO, aliens, um, missing 411, portals. Now, portals, is just a crack in time and space, which technically, if anybody read about this, they'll know that it's where somebody can pass from this time right here, right now, into another time and space and come back again. And physicists throughout the entire world, as you and I speak, and people can look this up. Anything I tell you, by the way, anybody can Google it and look it up and see if I'm telling them the right thing. Physicists throughout the world are studying portals right now, and they're trying to weaponize portals. It's a funny thing to talk about a portal as weaponized, but to get rid of somebody, throw them through a portal, that's weaponizing it.
Yeah.
They're studying portals to see how possibly, excuse me, aliens can be coming here and going back. Cryptids could be coming here and going back. Possibly other humans could be coming here and going back. It's a possibility. It's a distinct possibility. So, I mean, it's something that science is actually looking into. I wish they would look more into curing cancer and
Yeah.
other diseases, but they're pouring money into portals. Roger, can you believe that? I mean,
Yes.
it's just like, come on,
Eh,
seriously now.
I can because someone thinks that they could use that. And I'm not going to go into the conspiracy theory, but it has military applications.
Yeah,
So,
you're right.
yes.
It really does. I mean, look at the laser beams. They used to be on television and movies, and now the Navy has it where they can knock drones out of the sky.
Yeah.
planes or anything. I mean, I was actually privy to a demonstration on that, and it was like, wow, this beam of light just knocked the drone out of the sky. It's just
It's
amazing.
crazy. Yeah.
But
Uh,
you know, with portals, uh, there might be something to it, or there might be something to an alien ship beaming somebody up, because there's been a lot of reports, and I've researched this really extensively. There's been a reports. I'll give you an example. This father and son were out hunting. The son was about to his father's right. He was about 10, 12 feet away. The father looked off to the left to see a deer or something. When he turned back to the right, his son was gone. All right. His son was gone, totally missing. He went out looking for his son. He went back to their original blind where they were sitting down waiting for deer. He couldn't find him. He called the rest of the hunting party over. They did a search. They did hours of search. They called the police in. Police got in dogs, search team. They could not find him. There was no trace of this young man. And this young man was married. He had a couple of kids. He was very happy. He had a great job. There's no reason for him to try to go missing. They did not find his boots, his hunting clothes, his body, his gun, nothing. They found nothing. That's just one example, Roger. I won't bore you with the other ones because they're all similar, where somebody was there and then they looked around and he's gone. Or she's gone, for that matter. There's a couple of cases of ladies being out there who are, went with their husbands or boyfriends and a group. And this is with groups now. This wasn't a thing where a husband just wanted to get rid of his wife.
I understand in those missing cases, they use the dogs where the dog is given the scent and they follow it all the way to the point where they went missing. And then the dogs are just like,
this is it. This is it.
He's here. Right here. The person should be here.
Right.
That's where their scent ends. That, oh, Nick, my what little hair I have.
Hairs are standing up, right?
Because I've seen that. I know what you're talking about. To see a dog to sit down and say, I'm here. I did my, come on, give me my treat. The person's here or should be, because the scent ends there.
That's right.
It's amazing, or frightening if you think about it, quite frankly.
I mean, like, where are they? Where did they go? It's like, it's just simply amazing, Roger.
But the portals do get to me, and it's something that I hadn't given a lot of thought until you started talking about them and I was listening to it. And I didn't mean to cut you off right now, Nick. I just wanted to say that
please.
I've given the thought on the portals some, but it's like, again, for me right now, time is. Oh, and by the way, I was going to crack a joke, folks. I know it's 30 minutes late, but when Nick said that he was doing something in early January, this is the difference in this man and my man's life. I was sitting here adding up numbers, and this man was hunting for themes that the rest of us just stay home and don't want to know about. That's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, that's what I love to do, actually. I'd rather be out in the field, boots on the ground, looking for things, rather than be, sitting home, reading research books or doing stuff. But the most fun is when I go to another state. I mean, Kentucky, they had libraries over there that were so old, the dust was still on the books. People don't even use the place. You walk in, the librarians over there. Oh my God, a live body. Thank God. But I'd rather be in the field. But it all comes together. It goes hand in hand, research and field investigation, being boots on the ground.
And it's real. And that's why I appreciate, and I've been impressed. I've told you, and folks, I say this professionally, I've blown Nick on air over his Quad Coalition deal. What he's doing, he's opening the door, because even today, we've joked about it on other programs. If you admit to seeing something like this, your career is over.
Yeah.
Think about even just a few years ago. We'll talk about the things that happened off the coast of San Diego in a bit. But, the alien stuff. And it doesn't matter where you are. Hollywood does a great job of making fun of it, where they're telling a story. You know what I mean? They're about to tell their story, and then everyone just stiffens up. It's just like, uh-huh. And whatever standing that person had, it's gone. They are now the joke because they saw something. And we've seen the video released in the last year and a half. You and I talked about this, that it's now common. We know the video. We see it from the fighter cameras. These aliens or whatever they are, these balls of light, were screwing with our fighter boys, man.
That's
It's
right.
amazing, the technology, and the videos there, and the U.S. Department of Defense acknowledged their existence and said they're real. Wow, man! And what people don't pay attention. It's crazy. And now you've established this to try to reach out to academia, to reach back and say, "Hey, let's talk. What more do you want? Let's talk." And it's growing. It's growing, Nick, which is absolutely awesome. Someone needed to do this. Hopefully, academia will reach, will return the favor, I suppose, and get involved. There are scientists that are involved, but there aren't too many, right, Nick?
Not too many.
Yeah.
Not at all.
But here's the thing, folks. A lot of people don't know this. Nick himself is an educated man. He has a college degree, and he is, for lack of a better word, an academic who goes out into the field. So he's real. He's putting his reputation on the line. Not only does he put his reputation on the line, he's actually going out there and trying to keep people safe. I don't have what you have, Nick. Not even there, not even here. I go with you, but I am what's that guy? Burke in Aliens? That would be me. I would be the government guy, and that would be about it. And I'm just trying to capture something for the bioweapons division so we can get rich. But we won't cross into that universe. So that was a tangent, Nick. We have some other images. Where else did you want to go to? Because I know I distracted you from something.
Well, like I said, my topic was cryptids, aliens, portals, missing 411.
All right, I have a
People have
question.
asked me a lot of times, well, what's my opinion on aliens, life in the galaxy?
Yes.
Well, to put it in a way that people can actually understand, we all know what ants look like, little ants that run around. We've seen them all the time. They go about their day, and we're much bigger than they are, much bigger. And, we observe them. We could actually put our finger down and squish them and snuff their lives out. Look at the universe, how big it is. Maybe we are being observed, like we observe those little ants. I mean, it's a 50-50 chance, because mathematic wise, 50-50 chance, that is, because this universe is so big that there is other life out there. It's just, I mean, when you think about it, it seriously is, like I said, 50-50. When you really realize it, there's another 50-50 chance that there are smarter beings out there than we are. We can't be thinking that we're the smartest. So maybe they are coming here observing us.
Nick, statistically,
Excuse me.
in our galaxy alone, I believe it was in a Star Trek episode. Sorry, I had to bring it in there. When McCoy is talking to Kirk about, which the episode I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Don't destroy this one named Kirk. And he's talking about the number. In our galaxy alone, there should be 200 million Earth-like planets. It's just in our galaxy alone. And then what about on other planets that are not in the Goldilocks zone? And now I'm getting hardcore for some people. Life could still establish itself. And what does that life become? I mean, had it not been for that meteor that hit the Yucatan, the dinosaurs might have been the intelligent creatures today. It could have been. So that could have happened anywhere. I don't believe that this is the only place that life, statistically. So, asking the obvious question, you do believe that there are other aliens out there, right?
From all the evidence and accumulated stories that have happened over the years, I mean, well, forget about years, hundreds of years. I mean, there have been reports back into the 1600s, back in the time of the Egyptians. I
Yeah.
mean, just look at those pyramids, and then you have Mayan pyramids over in South America. How is it that they have similar things being built in two different places? How did they build those things? I don't care if you have tens of thousands of workers and everything. Somehow, some way, they had to get these things built. Thank you. My assistant brought me something to drink. I'm dying here.
Absolutely awesome. My assistant is not here today. I am envious of you, Nick. She might be watching. I doubt it. But yeah, she's not. Both of my
This
assistants, as
is
a matter of
flavored
fact.
water, by the way. It's peach.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I went for the high fructose syrup stuff because it's all I had on. Nick, I've run out of the regular caffeinated stuff.
Oh Lord.
Oh yes, I'm drinking decaf right now because I've run out of the regular. It's my fault. I haven't been able to get away, and that's why I was rushed, Nick. I was at work today from 9 to 5, and I ran an errand, and one errand, and I still didn't even get it done because I had to rush back to get here. That's why I owe you an apology, man. Nick was
Oh,
waiting so
don't even,
intently. He
don't
was
even bother.
watching the video,
It's
and
fine.
all of a sudden it pops in, and I think he saw me still running at the monitor. Say, Nick, I'm so sorry. Oh, out of here. Oh, it was just embarrassing.
I need to actually mention two things. One, as a cryptozoologist, which I've taken courses on, by the way, people.
Yes, they
I confirm
exist.
that my diploma is
Yes.
on my Facebook site. And if you get the number on it, every diploma is numbered, and you can actually look it up. Uh, anyway, in cryptozoology, I do a lot of field investigation. I travel all over, and my mantra has always been to prove or to disprove. I've actually been able, in my mind anyway, to disprove 3 of the cryptids, and I'm still out there looking for all of the other ones that are out there and everything. I
Oh,
just wanted to mention that. And then something else I should probably talk about in reference to the missing people out there who
yes.
basically not only go missing in forest areas, but they do go missing in desert areas, and they do go missing in the cities too, in the inner cities. But they're going to say that there's these experienced hunters out there. So they were going to say, well, how about an animal attack? It must have been an animal attack. A bear could have tore somebody apart and eaten them up. Well, bears don't generally eat their clothing, and you would find some of them left in their feces.
Yeah.
And also their shoes, their guns, their bows and arrows, bear, mountain lion, it doesn't matter. Yeah, their whole body could be eaten up because the forest will claim it. The animals will claim them, but there's always going to be something left over. There's going to be some blood in the area. And like we talked about before, the specialized search and rescue teams have specialized dogs, and they would have found that. So I just wanted to answer to the animal attack question, before I forgot about it.
May I add to that? I've seen bear kills in Alaska. Look, Nick, I'm not disgusted by stuff. I've held someone down because they had a blood, I was the one applying pressure. I know the blood, I know it's disgusting. I just die when they're needles. But anyway, I've seen images of what bears do to people, and they don't always finish everything. There's a lot left behind.
Yeah,
So they don't. Everyone believes the image we've seen in Hollywood of the animal eats the entire thing.
I
It
in my
doesn't always
research,
happen.
it's bloody. You bite a human in the wrong spot and you hit an artery, the arteries are going to be spurting blood. You hit an artery in the inner thigh, you're going to be spurting blood. And that's also an argument against these people out there who say, "Oh, a criminal, you should have shot him in the leg." Well, you could shoot him in the leg and kill him in 40 seconds because if it hits that femoral artery, he's going to die of blood loss. And it's kind of hard to hit somebody in the leg anyway. That's why you go for center mass.
Nick,
I want to talk about killing people, but
they don't understand adrenaline. They don't understand that hyper focus. They don't get it. A movie always lines up the sight, the sniper.
right.
That's what they believe is every kill, the sniper shot.
No,
it just doesn't happen that way.
Happen that way. But
don't.
what I wanted to tell you about was in my research, I've seen movies of it. You know, the film that they filmed the area, they filmed the. We're talking about polar bears up in the Arctic area, and a polar bear killing a human, and the guy's partner was out there setting up the camera, had the camera rolling, and the fellow was out there. I don't remember what he was doing exactly. I guess he was doing research, and they were checking instruments that were in the ground, and a polar bear just came out of nowhere. He was so white, this polar bear, that it was the same color as the snow in the background. Just came out of nowhere, swiped at the guy and killed him in one shot, started biting him. Roger, the polar bear had blood all over it. You could see the guy who was running the camera was fumbling with his rifle and never was able to get the safety off. He ran for his life. Meanwhile, luckily for him, the polar bear who had killed this gentleman, this researcher out there, the scientist, he was munching away on the guy. And there was blood all over the snow, all over the polar bear. That's what I'm trying to get at.
And that stuff in the Arctic doesn't go away that quick either. The color remains there. They can find it.
Frozen there.
Yeah. And
that particular scene, they went back. The rescue team went back, with firearms and everything. The polar bear was gone. Bits and pieces of that gentleman were still there in the snow. The blood was all over the place. They recovered the camera. They didn't show very much on that camera because they said it was too horrible.
Wow.
I mean, just to see somebody getting torn apart, shredded. And it's funny with bears, they try to bite on your head. I mean, I understand it's an internal organ. They want to get to your brain, but how do they know that?
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to this polar bear was trying to crunch the guy's head apart, and then they cut to a commercial. But they didn't really want to show any of that part. So this guy was torn to shreds. Yeah. So, that answers my question about a wild animal attack. You get jumped by a mountain lion, a bear in the forest area, even a coyote. A coyote's small, but they'll attack a human.
Yes, and by the way, and folks, we're not that dumb either, and I didn't mean to say it that way. We know some animals do drag off. Yes, we know that, but not everything can and will and does. 600,000 people go missing, and they only find the remains of 6%. That's crazy.
I mean, please, people, look that up. That's a fact. 600,000. That's a lot of people. I mean, look at how many people are in a football stadium for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, 100,000.
100,000. How much?
100,000 in a stadium, or between 70 and 80 to 100,000 at most. Yeah. I think Dallas takes 100,000. Don't quote me on that.
Total people about 100,000. The workers, people that are visiting.
Oh, probably more.
Yeah, but I mean that's 100,000. Now multiply that by 6, and that's just a lot of people. In my mind, it's just like you said, the hair's going back on the back of your neck over there when you think about it. All these people just going missing, and cheap insurance would to carry a locator beacon with you. I mean, if you're into going into the forest with a backpack, and say you're a hunter, even if you're a hunter, number one, you really should spend that $200 for a locator beacon, because all you got to do is hit that button and it's going to locate you no matter where. Even if you're in a cave, that signal's going to go out. You got to be really, really deep underground for it not to be.
I agree, and I'm sorry, folks. I did chuckle, and I held my facial expression as best I could. Nick, you've seen Jurassic Park 3, right?
Hmm.
Remember the poor guy that gets he's got the radio. And when you said locator beacon, I thought of the radio from the movie because they're over by the fence, and all of a sudden they hear the phone, and they turn around, and that big old monster was right there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Well,
I know. I apologize.
oh, that's all right.
But yes, a locator. Yeah, and that's common technology now.
I mean, I carry one. Mine's a little bit more expensive. Mine was like $345.
Yeah.
It's a miniature one. It's a Garmin. But I'm going to tell you, I've been in a tunnel system when we were out looking for cryptids, and we found this one tunnel system, and we went down close to a half a mile before we had to turn back. And we were still able with this Garmin to text message out
Oh,
to the ground team on top to tell them that we're okay, we're coming up, because our walkie talkies wouldn't work.
right.
And I was able to text message out and get text message back in. So I mean, and I don't mean this trying to be funny either. If you go through a portal, I'm hoping that this thing will be able to send a beam. If you get kidnapped by an alien and taken up into a ship, I'm hoping they would be able to still track that beam. If you fall into a ravine, I'm hoping it would be able to track it somehow.
Yeah, I would hope so as well.
I mean, if you get lost out there, or if you get attacked, maybe you'd be able to just hit that one little button. I mean, you carry it right here, so and you should practice it all the time. So, I mean, that's a recommendation from me to anybody out there. I mean, it should be common sense. You're going to spend time in the woods, get a locator. I mean, my God, just give up 30 lattes at Starbucks, and you'll have the money for it.
Oh, I hear you. It's easy. I agree. I agree as well. We should have it.
Safety
Some people
feature.
don't know. We have them on our phones
But
if we use it correctly.
the difference is that
Yes.
Garmin is military grade,
Right.
and it's going to hit satellites that we can't reach with these. These are 5G. It's still not as good. It's not as
Yes,
good.
that's correct. Yeah, I would agree.
On my way out to the Poconos, I went through a tunnel that was going under a river, and I got nothing in there. There was nothing. There was no no bars whatsoever.
It's crazy, Nick, where you are in the eastern part of the United States. The tunnel systems are just crazy. We don't have anything. Everything here in Southern California is artificial. Going all the way up north to Seattle. Any tunnels were built by us. There aren't any tunnels like in the famous Missouri area.
Oh,
I mean,
Lord.
that's crazy. And then over the Appalachian Mountains,
Kentucky. Oh,
Kentucky. Yes.
Kentucky. I mean, they go for miles and miles.
Yeah.
I mean, you really need to, if you want to go explore those tunnels.
Here is an image that Nick sent to me. These are limestone caves in the bluish green, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you see the lava caves. Those I'm familiar. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, let me put that one back. But look at what Nick was talking about. Can you tell us what this map is trying to show?
That's just trying to show you some of the many entrances.
Oh, okay.
Caves. They don't have it fully mapped out. If you'll go up to where like Michigan is and come straight down south, you'll see that clump in the middle there.
Oh, yeah.
Going into the Kentucky area. Now, from research that I've done and reading the maps in the towns, there are tunnels that go all the way down to Louisiana.
Wow.
So, and, you can see Florida all the way down to the right. I don't believe it hits Florida, but it goes down into Louisiana. I mean, it's just phenomenal what these tunnel systems are, and I don't know why they built them. I mean, I guess it would be some of them are from mining. Some of them I can't even understand why they were they're in existence, Roger?
Well, some
Idea.
of them is probably from volcanism. You really can't tell because it's my fault on the screen right here, but you'll notice that there's a slight yellowish color to the west,
Yeah,
and over in Oregon, Northern California, and in Idaho. For those of you that know and don't know, and this is a little bit that I do know, that yellow line is due to volcanism, and it's due to the hot spot of magma that's underneath Yellowstone as it has moved east. And I think it's the Snake River Valley. If you follow it, you can follow all of the explosion. I'm sorry, all of the eruptions, and it leads to Yellowstone right now. And in those areas, the lava flows cooled, and you can go in those tunnels. Nick, I can't breathe in places like that. I'm
well,
frightened. I have claustrophobia. I
you
could
would
not do what you do.
you would not want to go into some of these tunnels because you're walking bent over in a lot of them. And to be honest with you, I was in a tunnel one time with the team, and we had our top people too. So we're talking two teams, 14 people. We had a rope going from the outside in just in case communication failed. And there was some sort of I guess it was some sort of an earthquake because
Oh,
shake. And I mean, you don't even think about it until you're out. And we were talking about it later on over coffee, but it was like, can you imagine if the ceiling would have came down on us and we were like half bent over already?
you're
That would have been
done.
the end of us.
Yeah, you're done.
That whole place was shaking, and it was just like unbelievable.
Thank you, Golden Spike. Thanks for your comment right there. The whole upper Snake River Plain is made up of previous eruptions of the Yellowstone hotspot. There are lava tubes all over the place out there.
Lava tubes.
I've been in Central. Right. You see, I didn't, I named it incorrectly. Or I said it wrong. Thank you, Golden Spike. That's absolutely awesome. Appreciate your comment. Also, Caleb McDuff, thanks for your comment. Yeah. See, I, I can play with you, Nick. I know a little bit, but I don't know what you know.
I'll tell you, I read some research reports on what would happen if Yellowstone ever blew.
Oh,
Woof! Oh my God! It's the forest fires that they have in California are like nothing compared to what would happen if that ever blew. Unbelievable.
it is referred to as yeah, it's the end. It is if that one goes.
Oh,
Well, as a matter of fact, tiny bit of trivia, way off course. I believe it was about 100,000 years ago. Something happened that the human race was almost wiped out. Whether you want to, human, the Homo sapiens and Mongoloids and all that. Well, maybe not Mongoloids, but all the different ones. The human race, due to our DNA, there's a clog there, and they believe that, well, you can count the numbers of strands, that so much variety was lost 100,000 years ago that we were almost snuffed out by an event that they still haven't exactly determined what it was.
yeah.
And we got down to about 1,000 female females. And that's how we got to where we are today. That's crazy. And by the way, yes, Ross, thanks. I appreciate that, buddy. So that big tangent, but yes, those caves. I again, I couldn't do what you do. It's crazy.
Unbelievable. And we're looking at now, with the I don't want to go political, but just a real quickie, with the possibility of a nuclear war. If Putin decided to shoot, we're going to shoot back, and who knows? Red China might decide that this is a good diversion and it's a good time for them to do stuff. That could set off volcanic action, throughout the earth, throughout the world, and what would happen then? And I don't know, Roger. I hope Putin's thinking, because would he want to be going down in history, if there was a history left, as the person to start World War III? I don't know. To me, I kind of doubt it. I wouldn't even think he's so stupid.
Have you read the movie? Or I'm sorry. Oh, that was stupid. Have you read the book, Tom Clancy's "The Sum of All Fears"?
Yes.
Okay, think about that.
Saw the movie too.
Yeah, the movie actually was it was okay. I did like what's his face as a younger Jack Ryan, but I wish they would have done the way it happened in the
In
book.
the book.
Yes, it was. There was a
And
lot more going on. Oh, and by the way, in the movie, I was absolutely horridly disgusted when the Russians took out the carrier because
yeah,
everyone knows the minute a nuclear device goes off, the alert goes out, a carrier launches its AWACS immediately. So they've got a 250-mile window. And yeah, the carrier would not have been taken out like that in the movie. But all right,
no, and plus we have
I'm sorry. It frustrates me.
our subs. We have subs throughout the world in all the oceans, and they have nuclear capability. And you attack us, there goes the order, and there's going to be more coming their way. So
Yeah, and it was interesting in the book how the Teddy Roosevelt, the carrier, since it was in the Eastern Med, it's an automatic uptick in their security because they have nuclear weapons aboard. So the order of engagement changes, and
yeah,
that was the real cool thing about the book. They talk about how forward forces bump, and when they bump, things happen. Unfortunately,
did you
yeah.
see that more than 3,500 Russian soldiers have been killed?
No,
It's not giving up. They're not going to give up easy, and they're not just bloodying their nose. They've got a sniper out there that's been taking them out. They've got a jet fighter they call the Ghost. He shot down six of their.
yeah, I did hear about that. That's
Now you
awesome.
know you'll see all over the news and all over newspaper and all kinds of reports. Oh, they've got these super airplanes and jets. Well, how come this guy from the Ukraine wiped six of them out? If that's how they're doing against a little country like Ukraine, I'm sorry, he comes up against us, and if he wants to go mano a mano, they're going to lose. They're not as tough as they think they are. It doesn't look like it at all.
What has happened is, forgive me, and I guess we did go political for just a
I know.
moment, and it's a modern form of appeasement. And in the 1930s and 40s, we saw what happened. And so far, this person from that nation that we're talking about has gotten away with it several times where he's taking up pieces and pieces and he swallows it up the whole. So he figures he's just going to do it until someone
Yeah.
stands up to him. And someone is standing up to him. And folks, I know this is political and I'm sorry, but I do stand with those in the Ukraine. Nick, I'm not watching the news because I am saddened by it. I'm an
Oh,
old guy, brother.
it's horrible.
It is. It's
It's horrible
horrible.
what's happening over there. I mean, you got children being killed. I mean, why they would do that is beyond me. Women and
And
children. They got refugees on trains, and they're taking television pictures of the little 4-year-old girl crying in her mother's arms. I mean, it's just horrendous. Why are they are doing this? And
it
he
yeah.
is such a he's so full of it. And you know what? I don't care. He wants to send a Spetsnaz troop. Bring it, Putin. I don't care. I'm going to tell them the truth. He's
Yeah.
saying,
Bring
"Oh,
it.
we wanna take the Ukraine away from the Nazism." I'm sorry, their president is Jewish. He's a
Yeah.
Jewish man. There's no such thing as that happening over there. He freed his people, and the people value their freedom so much in the Ukraine that men, women, they're all out there arming themselves, and they say they want to come and try to take our freedom. We're going to fight, and that's exactly what they're doing. And
The
that's a lot of Russian soldiers that got killed that are not going to go home to their wives and kids either now.
it's a lot of Russians and a lot of Ukrainians are dying for what? Seriously, for
Mm,
what? Yes. Okay, folks, Russia has a history of being invaded much and often. I get it and I understand that. But and I'm not Russian, so I suppose I don't get it and I don't understand it. But from history, I understand why they want the territory. But it so happens that Ukraine in 2012 or 2014 all of a sudden discovered all this shale and oil and stuff off the coast. and now Russia wants it.
That's what this is all about.
Ukraine is rich, very rich in minerals, materials. It is the breadbasket of Eastern Europe. It used to be the breadbasket of the Soviet Union. Ukraine feeds more people around the world than than many other nations. But anyway, Nick, I haven't seen very much because I'm just saddened.
It's
Civilians and even the soldiers, as you said, they're not going home. Why? Because of some stupid dumb. Okay,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
and it's just a pity that they weren't part of NATO, because then we would have had to make a huge response, and these people may not have gotten killed so easily. But one of the other lies that he's putting out there is that, oh, he feels threatened by by the Ukraine. Really? They don't want to bother you. They're minding their own business. Nobody's trying to bother Russia or take land away from them. And here's a little tidbit of information. It's a trivia. Take a look at the world map and look how close the United States is to Russia. Alaska is just a
Yeah,
stone's throw over the water, and there's Russia.
yeah,
I mean, we're real close.
yeah, folks. If you've seen Alaska State Troopers when they go to Little Diomede, the island off the coast, it's 2 miles from Big Diomede, which is in Russia. Come on, we're 2 miles away. And no, the former governor of Alaska, could not see could not see Russia. I know she was misquoted, but it's still damn funny. I'm sorry. We're getting way, way off. It's just the things are going on right now. And Nick, I have not been feeling well because of that. It's sad,
It's
man.
horrible. It's horrible, and it's just not much we can do about it. As citizens. And
Yeah,
all I know is, I know this is a bad political thing to do, but
you're okay, man.
if that other gentleman was in office, Putin would have never done this, because he knows what would have happened. He knows what the response would have been.
Fair enough. I let me argue with you for a moment, but listen to what I'm going to say. I really don't know if he would have, but if you remember when that little punk from North Korea
Hmm.
threatened Guam, the man that we're talking about said, "All right," and I'm paraphrasing. He said, "You attack us, and I will rain." Or well, he said either I or we will rain fire, the likes of which the world has never seen upon you. And you know what? That little bastard stopped screwing around. Excuse me.
Well,
So I'm willing to acknowledge that, Nick.
that individual meant it, and
Yeah.
Mr. Putin wasn't going to play any games at that time. But as soon as he saw the political climate here, and what his importance, he places importance on some really dumb things, and I won't get into that because I don't want to offend those people out there either.
Hmm.
But the importance should not be on those things these days. And his response to this is poor. I'm sorry, it's poor. He told the Ukrainian president, "Hey, we can get you out. We can get you to safety." The Ukrainian president, by the way, has a vest on, and he's out there in the front lines.
Wow.
And he said
Yep.
to our president, our current president, he said to him, I don't want to come away to safety. I'm here for my people. He goes, "Send us arms, send us ammunition, send us some help. I'm not leaving my country." How would you
Don't get
do
me
it
out.
to a guy?
Get me help. Yeah.
My
Don't get me out. Get me help.
God, you're leaving us. You're leaving us to hang over here. I know I deviated from the topic of cryptozoology and all that, but I just want to tell people, while you're out there, besides having proper equipment and having a locator beacon, if you would do me a favor, people, I tell everybody, and when I teach classes on this, I tell everybody, look up. Always look up. Human beings don't do that. And
No, we
if
don't.
you're out there in the woods, look up. It could be a bear, could be a mountain lion up there in the tree, could be a snake. There are spiders, about the
Oh
size
yeah.
of bigger than my hand. They're wolf spiders. I saw one a few weeks ago, it wasn't here in New Jersey, and it was crawling around on the tree, and it was kind of big. Um, Early last year, one of the teams that I had sent out to another state, they came out of the bushes and they saw a group of people who were hiking, and this one lady was leaning against a tree and she screamed. Well, said spider bit her, and they went over and they splinted her arm and washed off the bite, killed the spider, bagged it, and told them that you better get this lady to the hospital. I mean, most spider bites don't kill people, but you know, it could have necrotized the skin, and she could have had other problems. So they got her out of there quick. I've heard
Yeah.
I've heard many a case where people are out there, you know, looking for cryptids or just on vacation or hunting, and people have gotten bit by a snake. You can't suck out the venom. You gotta calm the person down and get them to a hospital to get snake venom.
The frightening thing out here in the Southwest, and I think I did find one, and I don't want to say where, but we have the brown recluse.
Ah, yeah.
That one is a frightening spider. It
Oh,
doesn't per se hunt you. It's not that type of spider, but it will bite you. And the thing about that thing, when it gets into you, oh my, there's really nothing you can do,
that
man.
kills the skin
Yeah.
in the area. I mean, you got to get yourself ASAP to a hospital.
And the thing is, you don't even know it's bitten you until it's starting to do its
Yeah,
done.
look for the two bite holes.
Oh yeah, and
I mean,
it's
you know,
bad.
they could be in my bookshelves over here someplace, or you know, any place. A recluse can be any place. So, you know, mothballs are a good thing. You know, it'll keep them away. Stick them in the corners, the mothballs, and not too much because you don't want to be overwhelmed by the fumes.
Hey Claudia, let's get some off. Oh, that's right, she's not here. Damn
You
it,
know,
my assistant.
one single mothball or one single crystal, maybe on the shelf with some books, you know, or maybe where you've seen spider webs or in the corners of your room, just to keep them away. You know, you don't want to put a ton of mothballs because then you might get sick from the fumes yourself. But
Funny, Nick, how our parents had mothballs in the house, just as you say.
yep,
That that kind of knowledge was lost. Uh, oh, okay. We have a comment from Ross. Brown recluse, yes, and the black widow are the two that we worry about here. He's in Utah. Many years ago, New Mexico accidentally knocked a kitchen chair over, and there was a black widow with her web under it. Yeah, okay. You guys have seen my office and the joke. I
yep.
have the shed. I went in there looking for one of my little plastic pellet guns because the cats are getting stupid. So I was looking for it, and I lifted up a bag, and I saw the shadow. I'm like, oh my god, that was a big black widow. I'm like,
Man.
all right, I gotta kill it. So
If you
yeah,
don't
look,
want to, if you don't want to touch it, by the way, or go near it,
I don't want to touch it.
get yourself a can of hairspray. You
Oh,
know, an aerosol can of hairspray. It works on cockroaches too because the hairspray will
you know,
kill their breathing system. You know, and it'll freeze them. And then later on, you can come back with some paper towels and grab it and throw it out.
do they still sell hairspray? Because I'm not in the market for it.
Yeah, yep. I don't use it myself, but it's out.
Oh, here we go.
But it's a good thing. Hey, I don't have a lot of hair either. See, I'm losing
Oh,
it.
stop it. Stop it. But I'm the one that brought it up this time. In the other programs, sports, and everything else I do, they always hit me for the hair loss. This
I'm
time
just
you
trying
did
to
not
give
start.
little tips and tricks out there because one time in this house that I owned down the shore in New Jersey, I had a bat come in,
Oh,
and the
wow.
bat went on the oh god, the blinds, the Venetian blinds and the curtain that was on the window.
Yeah.
I got a bath mat. I put it under on the floor. I took out some. Well, at this time, I didn't use hairspray. I used insect spray, and I sprayed it with insect spray. It dropped straight down. I covered it up and I took it outside and flung it and let it go on its way. I didn't want to squish a bat. I mean, they're all full of nasty blood and stuff. Why dirty the carpet up with bat gush?
Yeah, you're
But yeah,
right.
I got that insect spray, sprayed it. It didn't like it. It went down, and that was it.
I'm gonna have to get some mothballs. I had forgotten about that, but you're
Yeah,
right.
put
Put
them
too
in the
many,
corners over
and
there with your with some salt. Little glass bottles of salt. Keep the bad spirits out.
now the one thing I will not do, and I'm probably gonna be well, I will be ripped for this, but culturally in the Latin world, I don't know if you've seen it, but they will purchase the milk cartons, cut them in half, and I don't know why they put either water or vinegar or something, and they put it in the corners of the yard. I to this day have heard different stories. I don't know why. I'm not going to do it. I don't know. It's supposedly it keeps the dogs away. In my opinion, you know how to keep the dogs away. I'm not talking about the dogman. Is you build a fence.
That's all.
That's how you keep them out. A dogman, though, I think if a real dogman were to come up to the fence, because here you can only have them 4 feet tall, I think it's just going to bump its knee as it goes over the
At
fence.
7.5 feet tall, yeah, I think he would just
Stop it!
or just jump over.
Wow, that's crazy. 7.5 feet tall. To this day, I just don't get that.
Well, Sasquatch go bigger than that, and uh, I don't know if I had told you about last year when Jody Cook called me up late at night and told me to get some people down to this lady's house, and she was over the border, New Jersey into New York State, and she had been in contact with him
I
uh,
think you did, but go ahead.
on the telephone and by Facebook Messenger. And she said, "They're here. They're here. You got to get somebody over here." And she just kept hitting him up. And he asked me if I can get somebody there. I got two of my guys to go with me. And it was about 1:10 in the morning. We went to the backyard area and we saw her and she showed us pictures. And we could see the eye shine on right next to a tree. The tree had no branches, Roger. No branches. So you're not going to tell me that was a raccoon or an owl. There was no branches. We found the tree she was talking about. It's in her backyard. And we went towards that tree and I actually measured it and it was 15 feet. Dogman is not 15 feet. Bigfoot, Sasquatch, there have been reports of 15 footers. There is a famous researcher for Bigfoot. He was in Alaska and he found a 15 footer there. So all I can say is in my mind, I can't wrap my mind around something
Yeah.
15 feet tall. Roger, the bone density of something like that, their bones are super thick. They're
Yeah.
about 3,000 pounds.
They can they can bump into us and hurt us.
Exactly. And
You sent me an image very quickly. I'm way off.
the
And this
Bigfoot
is the
report
Bigfoot. Yeah.
location. This shows you all the Bigfoot that have been reported, throughout, I guess, the last 30, 40 years or so in the different areas.
Quebec looks like the oh no, there's one up in Quebec.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
one up there. That's crazy.
Look all the way up at the top right, Quebec. Yep.
Now, again, this is what is crazy. What's up with Florida, man? I flew into Florida last year in December, and my daughter and I went out there because we wanted to meet someone, and then we crossed the border to Georgia. And sure enough, if I look at the map, I was in Bigfoot country. That's crazy.
Well,
Yeah,
you got to remember, Florida is notorious for skunk apes.
yeah,
So a skunk ape, Bigfoot, just most skunk apes are smaller than your normal Bigfoot is reported as being. Bigfoot goes 7, 8, 9 feet, 10 feet. The skunk ape is generally in the 6.5 foot size range. So I mean, that's you get a lot of reports down there. But if
uh,
you notice, once again, down the center of the country,
yeah,
they're cleaning. They're cleaning not green. It's like
yeah. Compared to the map that you were showing us earlier, where the caves are, it's crazy. Ross had a comment. He's out of Utah, folks, and he talks about Logan Canyon and
oh god,
Oxford
yeah.
Peak are two hotspots near where he is at. He's in, if I remember correctly, he's in the northern part of Utah, I guess closer to Wyoming. Um, but he has some activity. He has shown some wonderful images on his Facebook page. He's out in the wilderness, man. He's in a little city, but yeah, it's crazy.
You know,
Uh,
I did some statistical reports last year, early last year, and I found out that between the years like 1995 and 2015, there were over 3,600 reported contacts of Bigfoot in California. During that same time, in Canada, just over the border, Western Canada, there were 650 reports. So if you look at that map you just had up, you'll see that, you know, California is just like full of, the West Coast there. It's just full of them.
and if you notice, folks, and I know I apologize, resolution is a bit small. You can see Los Angeles clearly and San Diego. And it's like it's going around. And I know those parts. I've driven through there many times. I'm not sure if you're able to see it on the map because I'm using my mouse, but probably not. But all around Los Angeles. And then if you look up headed towards Vegas, I was in that area where there's that one Bigfoot near the border between Nevada and California. I took a trip out there in July. I don't know if you remember, it was my first real trip getting out after I got sick,
Yeah.
but I got sick on the way. Or you know what, Nick? I'm not sure. Well, no, I don't think I told you this, but what happened was when I was in Vegas, I was alone. I wanted to go from LA to Vegas to Reno and then come back down to 395, which is the Sierra Nevada. It was rather ambitious for my first trip, but it was starting to hurt a great deal. So I'm leaving Vegas. I said, okay, I'm not going to risk it. I don't want to be alone. The minute and for those of you that know Las Vegas, I'm on Charleston Boulevard,
Mm-hmm.
about to make a left to get on the 15 and go south, and I SU not. The moment I make the left to get on the freeway, pain goes away. But it was real, and I think it was really more I think it was genuine relief that I was going to risk it. So, and I've done some trips after that now. I went to San Francisco, Seattle. I went to Jacksonville. That one was fun. And my brother and I, on a Segway, I'm going to head up there again. I went up to 395, and Nick, I went to Manzanar. That's the well, it's not a concentration camp per se, but it was a camp where Japanese Americans were taken.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's immense, the footprint of that camp. And I have many videos. I did a live one from there. I took my brother up there.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go up there one more time. That was, okay, forgive me, folks, but I am someone who studies history. Manzanar was on my bucket list. And, you know, Nick, it is beautiful out there, but it's desolate. It's just absolutely desolate. And I can imagine we were there in the winter. We felt the wind, and it's windswept. It's against the Sierras, the Sierra Nevada, and it's just gorgeous. But it's so far away. It was really something.
Hey, I have a quick story for you that's been written down in the annals of cryptozoology, and it's in a lot of books. I don't remember his name. I don't want to put it out there just in case I'm doing something bad. But in Hollywood, he lives in Hollywood, California. Happened in 2014.
Oh,
a famous, God, what do you call those guys that reshape people's faces and stuff?
yeah, not a cosmetologist, but right, the surgery.
He was a surgeon.
Plastic surgeon,
and he was a famous one. If I put, I can't say his name. I don't want him to sue me because he's still alive today. He was stopped by the police at about 7:30 at night, and when they stopped him, he had a loaded 44 Magnum pistol on his passenger seat. Now he has a total clean record. He was just going a little bit too fast. I mean, he was only going about 7 miles over the speed limit, and they pulled him over. And they pointed over there, and he says, I have a license for it. This is who I am. He identified himself. They said, why are you Why do you have it on the seat? He goes, I'm going home. He was having problems in his backyard with the big people, he called them. That's what he and his family called them, the big people. They were Bigfoot in his backyard. And he was afraid when he would go home that one of them may have come out, before he got to go into the house. Now, I'm sorry, if it's a Sasquatch that's about 8 feet tall, he's going to bust down your rear door. I mean, a black bear can bust down a door unless it's super reinforced in metal. I've seen many and many a video of that happening. So anyway, he had a 44 Magnum, and he told the cop this.
Which is an impressive bit of weaponry in and of itself. Yes.
Oh, it is. And,
yeah.
He lived in Hollywood, California. Beautiful house, beautiful pool, beautiful area. For some reason, which they found out later on, some cryptozoologists who were called in later on, they found out why it happened. These Bigfoot were in his backyard. Now, the police officer said, did you ever report this? He says, yes, but my local police didn't take it seriously. They did send out a patrol a couple of times, but after the 5th time they reported it, they didn't send the patrols out anymore. So anyway, he goes home, and that officer, they let him go. That officer called up his town police and told them what was going on. And they said, yeah, he's reported it. They've had cryptozoology. The police did come there, and they did find large footprints. Not shoe footprints either, barefoot footprints. And they were wide, 8 inches wide. 8 inches wide there now, and about 17, 18 inches long. That is not an NBA basketball player, because I don't know anybody who's really big that has an 8-inch wide foot. Anyway, this gentleman who lived in Hollywood, California, this doctor, this surgeon, was scared to death. They sent out some cryptozoologists, and they found out why after interviewing the family, which is something I always do. I interview people to find out what's going on and what could have precipitated their encounter. A lot of times they did nothing to precipitate the encounter. The lady in upstate New York, where I went to check out her problem, she said it was dogmen. It turned out to be Sasquatch. That's the one that Jody Cook had sent me on. This gentleman here, this surgeon, the reason, they were leaving food out on the table.
Oh.
They had a pool out, and they would leave food. Leaving food is like leaving a gift. And if you don't do it every day, the Sasquatch gets mad. Now, they were overturning furniture in his backyard. They ripped apart a fence. They were doing all kinds of mischief back there, and they were seen in the backyard. The wife and kids were not going out there anymore. In fact, she was going to, move until they got something done about it. They did do something about it, and they didn't come back afterwards. But this was a real live doctor with a real live name and reputation. A guy who worked on movie stars and actors.
That's great.
So, it's all over the place. And as that map shows, 3,600 people, within a 20-year period making reports. Yeah. 3,600 people reported it on the West Coast. 650 people reported it in Canada. Are these people doing this just to make up a story, Roger?
No.
Do they want to get famous? Because most people don't want to tell anybody. They don't want to tell anybody because they're going to be frowned upon. They're going to be looked upon as a bunch of wackos. You could be up for a promotion at your job, and now your boss may not promote you. He may not tell you that's why, but maybe he feels that you're a wackadoodle and he's not going to promote you. You want to get a job, and suddenly your face appears and they go, oh, that guy said there was dogmen and Sasquatch running around here and there and that he saw something. Do they really want to hire you? Most of the times they don't. And it looks bad in your neighborhood. People don't want to be talked about in a bad way. It's human nature.
That is true.
That's all.
Yes, it is. Now,
I'm lucky I can talk about it because they know what I do out there. So it's like, on my job or doing cryptozoology type of field investigations. It doesn't matter,
I've got to tell you, Nick. First of all, folks, I want to acknowledge that. First of all, I want to acknowledge everyone in the comments, and for those of you that are going to be watching after the fact, if you have any questions, run them by us, and we'll send them on over to Nick. I think Nick will join us again in the future whenever he has another announcement. Actually, whenever he likes, he has an open one.
Anytime
I
you
don't do too many right now, as he knows. I disappear from January to April. He knows this. I'll tell you this though, Nick, if you're up for it, if I'm in Alaska and you want to do one live, I'll include you in on it. I'll be in Alaska and you're out in New Jersey. That would be kind of cool in the corners of the United States. Wow.
that would be great. If
Yeah,
you could wing it, that would be great. Oh
yeah.
man.
I'm sure there's got to be some internet out there, but we'll see. But folks, we are getting near the time. That's why I wanted to start thanking everyone. And Nick graciously gave us so much time. We used to punish him in the past because we started so later, and he would just hang on with us until he always got a call. He ditched us a few times for calls, and I know he can't talk about them. And I'm only saying that because I've known Nick for a while. The only time he left us, we could see it. He looked at his phone, camera would go dark, and he'd come back, either tell us or say, I gotta go, boys. I gotta stop playing. Which was really
I get a call out. It's an emergency because if it's a day off or time off, and they don't usually bother us. But if it's an emergency, you gotta go. I gotta go.
Well, I remember you did get a call and you had to leave like
Oh
that.
God,
I remember that. Yeah.
that was a bad time.
Maybe we can talk about that one another day. But Nick, you're always so gracious with your time. I thank you. I mean, I asked you and you were like, yeah, dude, let's do it. So it's great. Folks, check it out. The Quad Coalition of Sciences. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Yes. It is on Facebook. It is a worthy endeavor. Folks, when you start talking, that's the best thing. And maybe those dumb idiots back east need to do that too. They need to start talking. I know that was political. I'm sorry. But they need to. They need to act like adults. So, but anyway. Nick, thank you. Your last thoughts. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you again. But go ahead.
Is always look up, and people try to think outside the box and keep your mind open to things. There's possibilities of anything. It might not be probable, but it might be possible that something is happening out there, and there are things out there that we don't understand.
Yeah. All right, folks, there it is. Remember, just because it's not acknowledged today doesn't mean it's not real. Look into it yourself and not only Google. Be brave. Folks, all kidding aside, thank you. Hope all is well with you. And we look to see. It would be too boring otherwise. That's right, Ross. All right, folks. We are out of here. Thank you. And again, Nick, thank you. And we'll see you again. All right, folks.